So I'm Chris Norwood, the owner, director at Norwood Productions.
And I'm Kyle Thomson, the project manager at Norwood Productions.
Head lighting engineer. Our services we provide, we do full turnkey. So we do audio, lighting, staging, backline, power distributing, cameras for streaming and content creation. Within the office space, we have obviously the rehearsal rooms. So we're really full, when it comes to eventing, we're full turnkey. The only thing we don't stock in-house is generators that we outsource, but it all comes through us anyway. So if the client needs something, we will provide them with the full solution so they don't have to really shop around and they don't have to stress about anything. When the company first started, capital is obviously key when it comes to buying gear. We are firm believers that you need to buy top of the range gear, especially for longevity. Like if you want your PA to last a long time, over 10 years, same with your lighting fixtures, you've got to buy high-end equipment. And unfortunately, you need a lot of money for that. Gear is not cheap, especially in South Africa.
As well as reliability and quality to ensure that things don't go wrong on shows.
And all of that sort of pushed us in towards a corporate market when we first opened the doors. So initially, before we started Norwood Productions, we were working at another company where we were 99% of what we did was entertainment, was music, was rock and roll, the stuff that's close to our hearts, the stuff we are passionate about. But then when we started our own business and we realized what it costs to run the business, for the trucks, the space, the gear, we realized we had to move more into the corporate scene because that is where the budget is and that is where the consistency comes in. And that's what we did. So we focused mainly on corporates to begin with. And I would say over the first 3 years, we were 80% corporate and maybe 20% music. And now I would say in the last year and a half, we've started to focus more on the roots of the business, which is where the passion came in, which was the music. So now I'd say we're probably doing about 60% corporate and maybe about 40% music. And we love both. There's great aspects to both. Like when you're doing the corporate stuff, it's obviously very, very strict and everything has to be perfect, which is great because it hones your skills and your staff's skills, and you have to work in a completely different manner to a rock and roll event. But then when you do the rock and roll event, the times are long, the hours, like you end super late, but the passion is huge because we are dealing with artists that we love and we're dealing with music that we love. So we really, the same way that we cover all bases with our services from lighting, sound, background, all the way through, we try to do the same with our end services that we provide to the corporates and to the rock and roll and film. We'll literally take on any project as long as we feel we can do it justice in a way.
It's also a vastly different sort of client base that you're dealing with as well, where it comes from the corporate thing to the rock and roll sort of scene and the sort of environment that you're working in that sense too.
And you take a lot away from both.
Yeah.
You learn from both. And we'll often do a lighting design in a corporate environment where clients will go, wow, this looks like something we've never seen before. But they don't realize that what we're doing is taking the knowledge we've done from rock and roll shows and hip hop shows and drum and bass shows, and we're incorporating those lighting designs and that thought process into their corporate event. And they then see something different, and something different is always great. And it works vice versa. When we do a rock and roll show, often your rock and roll clients are a little bit more laid back, they're a little bit more chilled on their outlook. But then when we come with our corporate sort of mentality behind the event of like timing wise, setup wise, neatness wise, all of the professional aspects that we've learned in the corporate environment, you then put that into a rock and roll show, and that client will then turn around and be like, oh, this is new. We haven't seen it done like that before. So each one plays a role in backing each other up.
Yeah, especially also taking the creativity that you have and the freedom you have from rock and roll shows and those sorts of shows into a corporate space.
Yeah,
is also something very cool to do.
we were quite fortunate in COVID that we were able to adapt very quickly. When COVID hit South Africa, about a month before that, I was in India on tour. I saw the signs in India and Dubai when I was there traveling with artists, and I quickly realized that we were going to be in for rough times in South Africa. We are always, even with fashion and entertainment, everything, we're a few months behind. So that gave me a bit of insight to realize we needed to change our outlook. And we did that. We had order in for a big PA and some new lighting and stuff. We cancelled all of those orders and we put in an order for camera gear and streaming hardware. And that is what really allowed us to survive through COVID. It was terrible financially for us, but its growth and intellect, it was amazing. The business opened up so many doors into new revenues that we never had even considered. Cameras was never something that interested me, was never something I considered buying, but COVID forced us then to have this different outlook on how can you do eventing in a time when everything is locked down, which was the obvious solution was buy cameras, buy streaming hardware, open up a studio. We were very, very fortunate with one of our big clients, which is an agency. They gave us a space where we set up all the cameras, we set up our lighting, it was very basic sound because there's obviously no live audience, and they allowed us to experiment in their space for a few months to learn those skills, hone those skills. And then from there, we actually started renting a space in Melville with another company who were partners with us at the time in the streaming solution because they were content creators and they had lost all their business as well. So them being content creators, us being technical, we joined forces and we opened a studio in Melville, and that's how we survived COVID. But in hindsight now, looking back, tough financially, but great for what it has done for the business now. Because now every corporate job we do, not every, but a huge amount of them include streaming solutions. And we've gone as far as doing 3 events running nationwide, where all 3 events are streaming to each other. So 2 of the venues will be watching the other one's awards ceremony and interacting with each other in a real-time situation. And then it switches that these 2 will now watch the third one's awards ceremony. And that sort of solution has been incorporated into all of our corporate events. If it's streaming for post-production, recording for post-production content, or streaming to reach audiences that couldn't be in the space, or if it's bringing presenters in that couldn't join us to be there in person. Like we've done events now where a presenter will stream in from Dubai and do his presentation to an audience in Joburg.
Yeah, that's also the thing with the live stream events is that they're always proposing new challenges. It's always a different sort of setup or technically a little bit more challenging. So it's always keeping us on our toes is one of the newest things.
Yeah, and it makes you aware of, like lighting to us before was like stage lighting, wow factor. Now it's like stage lighting, wow factor, plus your wash for film. Like we never considered how do you wash a subject so he looks good on film. We were always like, how do you make the stage look immaculate? So it really, really did take us down whole different avenues, which has opened so many different doors for the business. And our clients love it. We'll often meet with clients and they'll go like, we've sort of thought of like, how could we do this, you know? And they're up in the air. And when we can turn around and go, you don't need to worry, we've done this. That solution you are thinking about has been implemented and it's been refined and done through us multiple times already. It puts them at ease and they go, cool. And another good thing with the filming stuff is everything is on record. So if you as a client came to me and you're like, how can this look? Because we filmed it and we've archived it, we've got endless amounts of footage that we can hand over to you and say, obviously with a non-disclosure, this is what we did for this client. You can get the same result. Or you can adjust it like we did for this other client and get this result. So it's very easy to sell something that has got a visual aspect to it. It's harder to sell something where you just speak about it. It's easy when you give them a portfolio or profile with the full history and everything behind it, you know?
Yeah, also everyone can be held accountable for anything that has gone wrong.
Exactly. Everything's on record. Everything. The good and the bad.
Well, the Martin Aura XIPs are an amazing wash light, and we have had some of the previous Auras. And yeah, we use them a lot for all of our lighting, camera lighting, outdoor stage lighting, and the XIP I think was a step forward and also a more reliable, a more robust and overall great color temperature light that we can also rig outdoors. You know, it's waterproof, although we haven't tested that yet, but can't wait to get them wet. And yes, overall the color temperature and what they give us in a film setting is just phenomenal. So the Era 400s, those we wanted to upgrade to a beam that could give us a larger functionality in zoom and focus and be able to do a lot bigger gobo work in a lot of the corporate spaces. That's a big thing that they're after. And yeah, I think the Era 400's been a great choice in that sense, as it's very versatile in all of its gobos and shapers that you can also use to encapsulate a stage and wash correctly with exact millimeter alignment. The XIPs we've used quite a bit, and yeah, they've got a lot of functionality even besides their amazing color temperature with their embedded macros that they can run. They run hundreds of awesome effects. It's great eye candy stuff for daytime shows. It's good room looks, walk-in looks, and overall, yeah, I've been very, very happy with them. And the XIPs overall are just a great wash light that we can use indoors and outdoors, as well as its other features that it has too with its macros.
The XIPs are the safest solution that we've ever had. So we do a lot of like outdoor activations, like for Coke Studios and stuff at big festivals, and a lot of it is open air. And beforehand, we wouldn't sleep. We would do a setup. We would go home and we would stress: did we cover this properly? Are we worried about rain? Now there's always constant stress. To be able to set up those fixtures, leave them, walk away, and know for certain that the next day, no matter what, sun, rain, hail, no matter what, you're coming back and that fixture's going to be as you left it and it's going to work, is peace of mind. It's peace of mind that now there's enough stress in live entertainment with the time frames, the hours. It just takes this huge weight off your back to know that, like, cool, this is no longer a worry that rain is potentially a show-ending problem, you know. And now it happens all the time. We do these outdoor shows and we leave and we don't think twice. We come back the next day, everything is as we left it, and that is really key to those fixtures.
Yeah, it's definitely our first step into moving head IP rated fixtures. And I think from that point onward, we're going to be buying a lot more of that sort of thing.
It's set the bar now. I think any fixtures we buy in future are IP rated. If it's not, we won't even consider it, unfortunately. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, fine, those Era 400s are not IP rated, but I must tell you, so we obviously do the corporates, we do the rock and roll shows, but a big source of income for us is dry hiring to other companies. And all the other companies that have dry hired those Era 400s from us love them. We don't get complaints. So they rent them, and 2 weeks, a week later, they're phoning to rent those same fixtures again and again and again. And that's proof. That's proof that it's a good light, because those people that are renting those fixtures could be going to any other production company in Joburg and renting any fixture that they choose. But the fact that they keep coming back here and keep asking for that same fixture says a lot about the light.
Yeah, it's an overall great light. It covers all the things that a client would ask for. Yeah. Whether you want to do water effects or anything like that, it covers all the aspects.
And a big thing with us is we're not like brand specific. We chose these lights because we thought it's what the company needed to grow. And the fact that Electrosonic was willing to help us the way they did made it a no-brainer. It was like, we actually don't have another option to go anywhere else to get this sort of service or this sort of support financially and actually hardware-wise. So it really didn't leave much choice. We looked at the proposal and it made sense, and it was the fixtures our company needed to take us to the next step. So it was really an obvious buy. Rainier helped us from the get-go, but initially a company we work very closely with, which is a company called Stage Effects, they actually put us, we have dealt with each other because these are not the only Martin fixtures we own. We own other Martin fixtures, but Stage Effects put us forward to Rainier and sort of helped Rainier and me make that connection, which helped broker the whole deal. So it was between us, and Stage Effects was a big piece. They were the ones that were like, because they stock the XIP fixtures as well. So they were saying to us, well, if we're buying a batch, you buy a batch. Then if you need to upscale, you know we have it. And if we need to upscale, we know you have it. And that is what this business is about. It's about building relationships with other suppliers so they can draw hire from you and you can draw hire from them.
Yeah,
and you can give that full turnkey solution. There's been bigger problems, like the festival car was talking about this last weekend. The previous year we did that. We lost a neutral on the power supply and we blew 12 fixtures instantly.
Yeah.
And that is obviously a much more severe thing, which then everyone jumped into action and had to resolve the problem. Nowadays, Carl is a project manager. Gordon, who you met earlier, he's a project manager. Bongani is a project manager. They are the ones that are on site, that are dealing with the clients. I still go to the bigger shows, but I'm very seldom at shows nowadays. I'm more behind the scene in the warehouse. So when an issue does come around, and it does happen, it's unfortunately, it's part of the game that we play. The eventing industry, things do go wrong. Vehicles can get hijacked. Things can break in transit. It happens, unfortunately.
It's not always even that. Sometimes it's just changes.
Yeah. And often you'll do a setup and then the client will say, but we need this, and this.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, nearly a lot of the time, especially in the corporate environments. And then it's up to the project manager to deal with the client in a professional manner, and he will then call me, and in the back end, I will then call all the correct people to source whatever it is that we're lacking. Or if it's phoning Rainier to say, listen, we are having a problem with this, how can we resolve it? So most of it will then funnel back through me, and then I will call them within the next half an hour saying, cool, this is a solution, explain it to the client, this is a time frame that we're looking at for it to get resolved. And then as long as you communicate well with the client, they're always understanding, especially when it's a last second change, you are actually doing everything you can to make them happy. So we are starting to get to that point now that we don't have to dry hire a lot of stuff until we start getting to the 6,000 capacity or your massive SCC setups. Like, then yes, we then call upon Blu-ray, MJ Event Gear, Stage Effects, all of these companies that we've got amazing relationships with, and they will always assist us, and we are eternally grateful for that. But at the end of the day, we need to grow our business for the staff and for everyone involved.
Yeah, but also when you're doing shows that are at that scale, it sometimes is nice to split the load up between another company.
Yeah, definitely.
It becomes too much for one to handle regardless.
Definitely. Like I don't know if roof structures will ever be our thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I ever want a massive flatbed truck to do roof structures. I know the right people to do that for us. And I trust those people, so let them do what they do and let us focus on what we are really good at. And that's how relationships are built, and that's how good productions are created, by employing the right people and trusting the right people to do the right aspect of the job. And like Carl just said, very often that's not us. And then you must say to that person, this is what you're worth, this is what you're getting paid, and do the best you can. And luckily we got those people that support us, from other suppliers to even the people like Electrosonic and the people we buy gear from. This industry is amazing with the support we get. It really is. So when you walk through the office, there's a lot of cool artwork. Our offices, the top section, it consists of all of the staff's offices and my office, the boardroom that we're sitting in now, and the rehearsal space. The bottom space of the warehouse is solely for gear and reception. That is like, it's always amazing to walk a client through the gear and show them what you have available and stuff. But the gear is one aspect of the job. Another aspect of the job, like we mentioned earlier, is the creativity behind it. And creativity is shown in art. It's shown in this environment you work in.
Yeah, the people.
I spend hours here every day quoting. I don't really want to sit in an office that's bland. I want to sit in an office that when I look around the space, I feel enthusiastic. I feel like there's creativity running through the building and the staff. And that is what this environment gives us. And everything that you see around us has got history. The artwork behind us was designed by a band I used to tour with. The artwork in my office and the drum villains in my office is all from artists I've toured with. So there's relevance to everything. There's a story, there's a history, and all of that creates a great working environment, and a great working environment creates a great outcome and creativity. There's a lot of creativity that goes into production. It's not as simple as just put up some lights and that's it. You've got to know what you want to do with them, and you've got to have the foresight to imagine it before you walk into the space. And this environment really blends with that. Yeah, so the rehearsal space was created. I used to be a drummer. Gordon used to be a drummer. Carl's got musical background as well. It was really a space in the building that wasn't getting used, so we thought, how could we utilize it? And it made sense. Let's build a rehearsal space that after hours I can go in there, play a little bit of drums. Artists can come and use the space, and in them using the space, they get familiar with myself, with the staff. Yeah. They get familiar with the gear, the brand, everything. So one rubs off on the other. So the hope is that as artists use the rehearsal space, trust and relationships are built. So when we run rehearsals, we'll run from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till whatever time they want to go. And then they get to utilize this boardroom and the bar and everything. So often when we've had artists rehearsing there, their wife and their kid will sit this side. Often they'll utilize the whole space. And they'll utilize the gear. So when an artist will come in, if they go, we need a Roland Juno or a Mark bass or a Yamaha Montage 8, we've got all of that backline sitting downstairs, which is one way of letting the artist know, if you ever need this backline, you know where to go, sort of thing. So it really is, it's a bit of pleasure for us personally, but it's a little bit of a business growth model in its own way.
Something that we've always had, a small space of, it's just grown now to this larger size studio.
Yeah.
Something you can also do small corporate voiceovers in and other small recordings, anything like that.
Yeah, and there's a 32-track multi-way recording console in there.
Yeah.
So when the artist is rehearsing, they can actually walk away with a recording of their rehearsal. Full multi-track. It's never going to be a studio recording, never be something that you can release, but it's something you can give to the bass player, and it's something you can give to the drummer, and each muso can take it home and go, how can we edit this to make this song change a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Or how can we change the structure of the set that it runs smoother? And all of that is easy when it's all recorded and given to you, and each muso has access to it. So it's just a nice little bonus to give people.